Hello. Look, it is the first chapter of your chemistry of your science book, that is chemical reaction and a chemical equation. Okay. If you look the chapter name chemical reaction and a chemical equation. Sir, what do you mean by chemical reaction? What do you mean by chemical reaction? When chemical changes occur, that time, to understand chemical reaction, we have to understand chemical changes. And after understanding chemical reaction, then only we understand chemical equation. That means to understand chemical equation, first we have to understand chemical reaction. To understand chemical reaction, first we have to understand chemical change. Okay. So first we starting from chemical change. What do you mean by chemical change or change? Then chemical change, then chemical reaction, then chemical equation. So in this chapter we completed what do you mean by change, what do you mean by chemical reaction, what are the characteristics of a chemical reaction. Okay. Then we understand balancing, need to balance a chemical equation, a limitation of a chemical equation and their removal. Okay. Then types of reaction like combination reaction and ATC type, decomposition reaction and ATC type. There are several types of reaction are there, combination, decomposition. Okay. Then displacement, double displacement, redox and the effect of oxidation in daily life. These are the concepts which we have to cover in this chapter. Then come to your first thing, that is change. What do you mean by change? Look, change means parivartan or badlav. Every day, look, our weather is changing, season is changing, you also changing day by day, our hair also changing day by day. So what do you mean by change? Okay, change means parivartan hona. Okay, that is the rule of our nature. But there are several types of changes are there. Like on the basis of time, some changes are there. Like our hair, our growth, our age, that changing according to time. There are some changes which we desire or don't desire that happen. But in this chapter we have to read about the change based on chemical composition. Sir, what do you mean by chemical composition? Chemical build-up. Suppose I am telling you water. This water is chemically made up of H2O, hydrogen and oxygen molecule. Okay. If you tell water, what is the chemical composition of water? H2O. If you tell about carbon dioxide, the chemical composition is CO2. If you tell about sodium chloride, the salt which we are eating daily, that the composition means in which they build up, chemical build up, sodium chloride. So we have to learn the changes based on chemical composition. Okay. If chemically build up means chemical changes. If chemically build up is changing, that means chemical. Okay. If there is no change in chemical composition. Suppose I am there is a paper. I broke the paper into two pieces. Are there any chemical changes? No. So that's why the paper breakdown of a paper comes under physical reaction, physical changes. If chemically composition means chemically changing are occurring, that means chemical change. If no change in chemical composition means chemical build up, that means physical. Okay. Then on the basis of a change in chemical composition, remember chemical reaction means changing in chemical composition. Chemical composition meaning is nothing but chemical build up. Okay. Look, chemical composition changes. How to know? Look, if chemical changes is not changing, only shape, size, physical state are changing, that is called physical change. We have two types of changes. Okay, one is physical change, one is chemical change. In physical change, In physical change, only physical properties are changing, like shape, size, physical state change. Like paper. Paper is in this shape. I am broke down into this step. Only physically changing. Are these any chemical composition changes? No. Okay. If no chemical composition changes, that means physical change. Okay. If chemical composition changes, chemical composition means the substance, the composition of the substance.
Okay.
If chemical composition is changes, that means 100% chemical changes. Okay. You understand or not? Hello.
Okay.
Look, you can look. Only you have to look chemical composition. Only you have to look chemical composition. Don't okay. If no, 100% physical changes. If yes, don't look the second character. Comes to chemical. Okay. Look the chemical composition of changes. If no, 100% physical. If yes, look in chemical changes also shape, size, physical state changes. But don't look this. If chemically composition change, that means chemical reaction. If no, physical reaction. Okay. You understand or not? Then look, if the example of a physical changes is, suppose there is a paper. I broke this paper into small pieces. First thing, tell me, chemical composition changes means the paper is made up of some element, na? Are these elements are changing? No. Only the shape is changing. Only the shape is changing. If shape, size, physical state is changing, that means it comes under physical change. It comes under
Change.
physical change. Suppose burning a paper, burning of a
Physical change.
burning a paper, burning a
Paper.
okay. Burning means something that react with oxygen to give product, and with this product heat and light energy is releasing. Okay. When you burn the paper, the paper reacting with oxygen, the paper reacting with oxygen. After reacting, they will give you some product. The product is nothing but us. Okay. With this product, some heat and light energy is releasing. That means, think, the composition of a paper is changing now. That's why it is a chemical changes. That's why it is a chemical changes. You understand or not? And the process of a chemical change is known as a chemical reaction. How chemical changes occurring? That is called that is happening through chemical reaction. If chemical change is there, that means chemical reaction is also there. Okay. Then come to some example. You have to identify is it a chemical change or a physical change. Melting of ice to give water. Melting of ice to give water. Look, ice is nothing but a solid. Ice is made up of a hydrogen and a oxygen atom. Hydrogen and oxygen atom. Means ice is composed. Ice is composed of a hydrogen and oxygen atom. When you melt means you provide heat. You provide heat to the ice. It is converted into water. Look, ice is in solid state, water is in a liquid state. Only state changing. Now what happening, sir? When you give heat, look, in solid the particles are closer to each other. Here also look, only they are moving, but they are going some distance. The particles also going some distance. But look, same hydrogen and oxygen is here, na? Hello.
Yeah.
Only changing in state, not in chemical composition. Means hydrogen and oxygen. Look, in ice, hydrogen and oxygen are there. After getting water, are they changed into something? No, na? Same hydrogen and oxygen, na?
No.
So that's why it comes under physical change. Same thing, look, boiling of water. Same water molecules are there. It is in liquid form. When you provide heat, it is converted into vapors. After converting vapors also, it remains H2O. Na? Only the intermolecular space between molecules are increasing, but no change in composition. Na? Okay,
Yeah.
that's why it is also a that's why it is also a chemical physical reaction. Look, crossing a paper cup. Look, this is the paper cup. After crossing, it is converted into small pieces. Are the change in composition? No, na. The composition remains same. That's why it is a physical change. But come to combustion of a charcoal. Combustion of a charcoal. Combustion of a charcoal, it comes under, look, combustion means the process in which one substance is react with the oxygen. Any substance react with the oxygen, give you product or a products with these light energy and heat energy is released. This is called combustion. Combustion is nothing but one type of burning. Okay, combustion means in combustion any substance react with the oxygen to give products, and when products is creating, that time hydrogen heat energy and light energy is released. Okay, and the substance which can react with the oxygen is called combustible substance. Stable substance. This is you already cover in your 8th class. Combustible substance, like vapor, like wood. Look, charcoal. Inside charcoal, carbon is there. Inside charcoal, carbon is there. So carbon molecule react with the oxygen to give carbon dioxide. Look, this is carbon, this is oxygen. They react with each other to give carbon dioxide and heat plus energy. Look, carbon is a element, oxygen is a element. Two elements are combining each other to form one compound. That means 100% what happening? One chemical reaction is happening. And you remember there are some character, by looking this you can show also it is a chemical reaction, like heat energy is releasing, light energy is releasing. Okay, you understand? Inside carbon, but inside charcoal, carbon is there. Inside oxygen molecule is there. They are combining each other. Means something is changing in their composition, na? Changing in composition, na? To form carbon dioxide. That's why it is comes under chemical change. Then come to characteristics of a chemical change. Characteristics means indicators. What do you mean by characteristics? Look, indicators that tell whether reaction or chemical change takes place or not,
Not.
means by looking this you can check, you can tell is this a chemical reaction or physical reaction. Okay, how? Change in color. Number one is change in color. When chemical reaction will occur, sometime the color of the product will change. Okay, look, for this I am taking one example. Barium chloride. It is a compound. Compound. Especially it is a salt. Barium chloride and sodium sulfate. Actually I am taking barium chloride solution. What is the meaning of a barium chloride solution? Barium chloride is mixed with water, dissolved in water. Okay, and sodium sulfate solution means sodium sulfate is dissolved in water. Okay, I am taking these two. Barium chloride is a colorless solution. Okay, solution means it is mixed with water. Okay, you understand? When I make barium chloride solution, its color is colorless. It is colorless. Barium chloride is colorless, and sodium sulfate is also colorless. Sodium sulfate is also colorless. I make solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in two different test tube, in two different tube. After this, I mixed them. I mixed them. At that time, I am looking barium sulfate is created. Barium sulfate. That means when barium chloride react with sodium sulfate, I will get barium sulfate. I will get a barium sulfate. What happening? Look here.
Barium sulfate.
It is a cation. It is a cation. It is a anion. Cation means positive ion. Positive ion. Anion means negative ion. In sodium, sodium is cation. Sodium is cation. Sulfate is anion. What happening? It is called displacement reaction. This barium remove sodium.
Okay.
Combine with sulfate. Combine with sulfate. Okay. And sodium is attached with chlorine. Means barium comes from this place. Look, barium comes from this place, attached with this. It become barium sulfate. Okay. And sodium going from here, attached with chloride. It becomes sodium chloride. But the main focus is not reaction. The focus is, look, whenever this is happening, look, barium chloride is colorless. Sodium sulfate also colorless. But when they react with each other, they will form barium sulfate, that is white. That is white color. Are you looking? I am taking two substance which is colorless, two compound which is colorless, but after reacting, I am finding the product that is white. Sodium chloride is colorless. Don't look sodium chloride. Only focus on barium sulfate. Are you understanding? Color change is happening or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, white insoluble solid. Look, when this reaction will happening, look, after this, in bottom of the test tube, you get one white insoluble solid. You get one solid that not mix with the solution. That is called precipitate. Precipitate means after chemical reaction, if insoluble solid you get, that is called precipitation. Okay, precipitate. You understand or not? Two things I am telling you here. One is change in color, one is formation of a precipitate. Change in color means, look, barium chloride and sodium sulfate. I took the solution, after reaction I getting barium sulfate. These two color is colorless, but here I am getting white color solid, and that is insoluble. Look, these two are soluble in water. These two are soluble in water, but barium sulfate are not soluble in water. Are you looking? Two colorless giving color product, two soluble giving insoluble substance. That means something is changing na, in composition something is changing na. That's why this is the character of a chemical reaction. Any chemical reaction, color change or precipitate are forming, 100% it is an example of a chemical reaction. The chemical reaction is happening. The next thing, evolution of a gas. Evolution of a gas. Look, baking soda. Baking soda is nothing. That don't look on the reaction. In this 10th class, you will understand everything in chapter by chapter. Okay. Baking soda, whose chemical name is, whose chemical formula is NaCO3, sodium hydrogen, sodium bicarbonate. Sodium NaH general name is called sodium hydrogen bicarbonate. Okay. Here sodium is cation, cation, and hydrogen carbonate is anion. Okay. This is vinegar, or I say it as acetic acid. Acetic acid. And CH3COO, this minus showing it is a ion. Okay, HCO3 ion is hydrogen carbonate, CH3COO is acetate. Okay. Okay, what happening? Look here. Ho- this baking soda is solid. Baking soda is solid. Vinegar is aqueous. Aqueous means anything dissolved in water. Anything dissolved in water. When they react with each other, when they react with each other, this cation comes to this anion. Means sodium is attached with this. Sodium is attached with this. So it forms CH3CONA, which is called sodium acetate. It is called sodium acetate. Are you looking? And one carbonic acid is created. After the decomposition, we will get water and carbon dioxide. Look what happening. NaHCO3, it is called baking soda or sodium hydrogen carbonate. When react with acetic acid, the sodium is coming from the baking soda attached with the acetate to form sodium acetate. Look, CH3CONH complete. Remaining here H1 H2CO3. This again break down to give water, H2O and CO2. Okay. Look, carbon gas is releasing evolution of gas. This is the main focus. When chemical reaction will happening, gas will be emerge. Okay. And then change in physical state. Look, baking soda is solid, vinegar is aqueous, but when sodium acetate is forming, it is aqueous. And liquid, look, here solid aqueous, but here I am getting liquid gas. Are you looking? Happening in a change in physical state.
Yes, sir.
How many properties we cover? Characteristics. One is change in color, one is formation of a precipitate. Chemical characteristics means it shows whether, it tells whether chemical reaction is happening or not.
Okay, sir.
Then change in temperature. When chemical reaction will be happening, there should be change in temperature. Look, heat. Number one, heat in some reaction, heat is released into the surroundings. In chemical reaction, if heat is releasing, it is called exothermic. It is called the exothermic. Exo means exit. Thermic means of heat. Any chemical reaction in which heat energy is releasing to the surroundings called exothermic. Means the temperature of the surroundings is increased, na? Endothermic, the chemical reaction which absorb the temperature from the surroundings. Exo means exiting heat to the surroundings. Endo means absorbing energy to the surroundings, from the surroundings. Okay, you understand?
Okay, sir.
Exo and endothermic is not just limited of a heat energy. Look, don't think heat energy. Many time heat energy is producing or heat energy is absorbing. Except heat energy, sunlight is also, sound also, electricity also required, or okay. In photosynthesis, which type of energy we require? Sunlight, na? Don't think change in temperature means only change in heat energy, one release of a heat energy or absorbing of a heat energy. No, sometimes sunlight, sound also required. Okay, electricity also required for happening. These are the different form of energy, na? Okay, you understand? But basically you have to remember, change in temperature means if during chemical reaction, if heat is released, no, not heat, if energy is released, that also called exothermic. Okay,
Okay, sir.
don't think only heat. If heat is released, then we call exothermic. No, energy also is, if released, like light energy, like different types of energy, but most of the case heat energy also only releasing. Okay, heat release to the surroundings or energy released to the surrounding is called exothermic. Energy consumed from the surroundings is called endothermic. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, look, some types of exothermic and endothermic. Look, burning of natural gas. Burning means combustion. Combustion means any substance that react with the oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, heat and the light energy to produce some product. Okay, look
Okay, sir.
here, heat energy is releasing now. if
Yeah.
if you look heat in product side, that means heat energy is releasing. Heat energy is releasing means exothermic. And remember, this is light energy na. Light energy two types. Sometime you look this light energy of flames and sometime glow. When one candle is burning, that time flame is produced. when
Hmm.
when mastic is burning, that time it is not called burning, it is called smoldering. Okay, the burning is a type of a combustion. Combustion is of two types. One is burning means light energy gives flames, and one is smoldering. That time light energy become gives glow. Okay, look the respiration. You know about respiration now. Few days ago we completed. What happening in our mitochondria? Sorry, in cytoplasm, the glucose molecule in presence of oxygen break down into carbon dioxide, water, and the energy. Look, I'm telling na. Don't think only heat energy release to exothermic. No, release of energy. So look, in our respiration, energy is releasing na.
Hmm.
So it is exothermic reaction. Then come to another example, conversion of a green matter to fertilizers. The green material, suppose the vegetables, a part, okay. If you put inside one a hole, gadda, after some day they will become one fertilizers. This is also when these fertilizers become, if you touch the fertilizers, you feel hot. Okay, this is because it is a exothermic reaction. Sir, give an example of a endothermic. Look, if you remember our photosynthesis. What happening in photosynthesis? Carbon molecule, hydrogen molecules require sunlight. Require sunlight means energy is absorbed from the surroundings. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
Then balancing and need to balance a chemical reaction. You understand chemical reaction?
Yeah.
If chemical reaction is a process through which chemical change occurs. Look. When magnesium ribbon is strongly heated in the presence of oxygen, it burns with a dazzling white flame and form white magnesium oxide powder. Sir, what you wrote here? To show one chemical change, you are writing a story. Can you write this in short form? Are you understand my question? Sir, can you write this in short form? Or you are writing one story for reading one chemical reaction. Suppose few seconds ago we will learn one chemical reaction, that is this. If I am telling like this, barium chloride is a colorless solution. If it reacts with sodium sulfate, it is also a colorless solution. Then it will give barium sulfate, which is a white insoluble solid, and sodium chloride. It is such a lengthy na? To
Yeah.
represent chemical reaction, we need the help of a chemical equation.
Equation.
Equation chemical equation is of two types. One is word equation. Sorry, we require equation to represent chemical reaction in shorter format. We require equation. Either we can take help of a word equation or we can take help of a chemical equation. Okay, then okay, to write equation, some terms you have to remember. One is reactant. Reactant means substances that undergo a chemical change. Look, suppose here magnesium ribbon is strongly heated in presence of oxygen plus oxygen.
Yeah.
It gives you magnesium oxide. It gives you, look here, magnesium plus oxygen. It gives you magnesium oxide plus heat energy and light energy. Reactant means substance that participated in the chemical changes or that undergo a chemical changes. Here magnesium and oxygen undergo a chemical reaction, na? Chemical change, na? That's why this magnesium and oxygen is called the chemical,
Yeah.
sorry, is called reactants, is called the reactants. And between reactants we use plus symbol, we use plus symbol.
Plus.
Then come to product, substance that are formed after a chemical change. Look, reactant means substance that undergo chemical changes. Product means substance that are formed after a chemical change. Look, after reactant go on chemical change form magnesium oxide, na? So this magnesium oxide is nothing but product. Okay, and reactants may give product or products. Don't think only they will give product. No, product or products. Remember, sir, heat and energy is product. No, because it writes substances, because it write substances. Substances means anything that occupies some mass and space. Heat and energy is not matter, it is energy not matter. Substance means matter होना चाहिए. Heat and energy is not a substance. Okay, so product, if I am asking the question magnesium oxide plus heat plus light, what is the product? You have to say only magnesium oxide. Heat and light is not product, it is energy. Okay,
Okay.
so the shortcut representation of a chemical reaction is called equation. Equation are of two types. One is OR equation and another one is chemical equation. In both the equation, two concepts are reactant and product. Reactant means the substance which are undergo a chemical changes. Product, substance that are formed after a chemical changes. We put plus symbol inside reactants and then one R mark and product. In between products, we put plus symbol.
Okay.
Then come to chemical equation. That in this side we completed word equation. Chemical equation means a shorter and faster way of representing a chemical reaction in terms of symbol and formula of the different reactants and products is called chemical equation. In place of words, we use symbol. You know, symbol of a different element. Look, same thing I am writing. You know why to write automated? I don't know. Look, I know magnesium. The symbol of magnesium is Mg. The symbol of oxygen is O2. This give you MgO plus heat plus light. This is nothing but a chemical equation. Mg and O2 is called products. Sorry, reactants. It's called reactants. Reactants means these are the substances which undergo a chemical reaction. MgO is called product. MgO is called the product. Means substance that are created after the chemical reaction. Then you understand chemical equation? Then come to one question. Is the above chemical equation balanced? What do you mean by balance? Balance means
Equal.
number of atoms on LHS equal to RHS. What is the meaning of balance? When one chemical reaction will happening, chemical changes in happening, the number of atoms
Atom.
of reactant
Reaction.
should equal to number of atoms of product. If no, that means that is not chemically equation balanced. So if yes, that is called a chemical equation balanced. If no, this is called this chemical equation is known as balanced chemical equation. If yes, chemical equated. If yes, balanced chemical equation. If yes, then called chemically balanced chemical equation. If no,
Hmm.
just a minute. How many page remaining? Listen, huh? 3 to 4 pages. Look. If yes, if number of atoms on LHS equal to number of atoms on RHS, that is called balanced chemical equation. Balanced chemical equation. If no, if no, then skeletal chemical equation. Skeletal chemical equation.
Yes, sir.
Or unbalanced
Unbalanced.
unbalanced chemical reaction equation. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Chemical equation is nothing but shortcut representation of a chemical reaction. When chemical equation we write, we have to check the number of atoms on reactant should equal to number of atoms on a product. If yes, that means this chemical equation is called a balanced chemical equation. If no, that is called skeletal chemical equation or unbalanced chemical equation. Okay, then count here. In left hand side, how many magnesium atom are there? 1. Look subscript, there is nothing, means 1. Okay. Hello. Oxygen, how many molecules are there? 2. Okay. But in right hand side, look, how many magnesium molecules are there? Magnesium atoms are there?
Uh,
Hmm. In magnesium oxide, how many magnesium atom are there? 1. Look, atom means if
One.
subscript, there is nothing. Subscript means below. Nothing, that means 1 molecule. If something is written, that number of atoms. Okay. So in MgO, Mga atom is 1, oxygen atom is 2. Then look, oxygen is 1. Are you thinking they are chemically balanced? Chemical equation balanced. How? Here magnesium 1, 1. Here oxygen 2, here 1. How this equation chemically balanced? No. That means
No.
no. It is skeletal chemical equation. Chemical equation. Then
Yes, sir.
if chemical equation is not balanced or a skeletal, we have to convert. We have to make it a balance. Before this, first we have to understand what is the need of a balance a chemical equation. What is the need of a balancing a chemical equation? Okay. Look, every chemical reaction follows laws of conversion of a mass. Okay. Wherever you are writing chemical equation, it should obey law of conservation of mass. You know about law of conservation of mass in 9th class atoms and molecules chapter. There was one scientist called Antony Lawrence Lavoisier. They give law of conservation of mass. What is law of conservation of mass? In simple chemical reaction, mass is neither created nor destroyed. Okay, that means mass of a reactant is always equal to mass of a product. That means suppose Ram and Sam, suppose for example I am telling, I am creating the reaction, they are react or they form Hari. The Ram weight and Sam weight combinedly suppose 59 kg, so the Hari weight should be 59 kg. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is telling. First thing, why you require need to balance chemical equation. It is required because it's whenever we are writing chemical equation, it should obey law of conservation of a mass. Sir, what do you mean by law of conservation of a mass? In simple chemical reaction, not nuclear reaction, not like bigger reaction, mass is neither created nor destroyed. Okay, suppose there is a chemical reaction, AB plus CD is happening. Only rearrangement, look, only rearrangement is happening. Chemical reaction is a rearrangement of atoms. Okay, means look,
Ah,
suppose Mg plus O2, only rearrangement will be occurring. rearrangement. That means number of atoms on reactant should equal to number of atoms on a product. Okay.
Okay.
Look, if number of atoms on a reactant is equal to number of atoms on product, that means mass of a reactant is equal to mass of product. Okay.
Hmm.
And mass means atoms are participating. That means atoms having mass. If the same number of atom of a product, reactant is equal to same number of a product, that means then only possible na mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. If suppose here you look, magnesium mass is 14, oxygen 16, no, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, aluminum, magnesium 27. So whenever they react each other, here mass should be same na, 16 into
Yeah.
2, well 32. So 32 into 27, it will be 49. But here you look, magnesium is 27 and oxygen is
Hmm.
16. Here only happening how much? 43. Are you understand?
Yes.
So this is the requirement why we require to balance the or equated the balance the chemical reaction to obey law of conservation of mass. Look how to do this. I am giving you only one example. On the basis of this, you have to do several things. You understand or not?
Understand.